What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lovers, and welcome back to another episode of Cursed Gun Images. Now in this series, we normally look at a bunch of just really terribly built guns, terrible ideas for guns, and just, in general, the things that should not be. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to be looking at improvised weaponry. You see, it may shock you to know not all people live in the United States of America. Yes, in the rest of the world, you can't just get full auto M16s out of vending machines or however you guys think things work here in the US. But yes, in the classic tale of the bad guys will always find a way to get guns. Sometimes those guns are a little harder to come by, and it requires people to have improvised munitions. Homemade guns, pipe guns, zip guns, whatever you'd like to call them. Today we're going to be looking into a couple of those, kind of breaking them down a little bit, and just, I guess, enjoying it. Well, you guys will be enjoying it. I'll be, yeah, you get the picture. But without further ado, let's rock and roll. A scary looking, decrepit pistol of unknown caliber with an external epoxy material finish found in Esperitina, Piauí State by civil police. I don't know what looks scary looking about this, other than the fact that it looks like it was made by a 4th grader. This looks like a C96 broom handle Mauser that you put in the microwave too long. Although the commitment to using multiple kinds of materials is kind of impressive. You got a little bit of wood, a little bit of bent sheet metal, fucking Play-Doh for the most of it. Definitely interesting, and apparently technically a firearm. But let's say you go to a shooting range. You're using this, again, technical firearm to poke holes in your paper targets. Obviously, you don't want to be an asshole, so you have to put up a new paper target when you're done with it. So you go up with your new target, and you pull out your staple gun, and lo and behold, it's a 22. Honestly, this one's pretty clever. I like this. The base firing mechanism of a staple gun, relatively close, and when you have a rimfire cartridge like that, doesn't really have to be spot on the primer. You can just kind of strike anywhere on that rim. Makes perfect sense. Mix that with a low pressure round like 22 LR, and you don't really have to worry about it blowing up in your hand, which is a plus. However, if you're a hardened criminal, good luck on anybody taking you seriously when you rob them with a stapler. Overall, 6.9 out of 10. I fucks with it. Mom, I want a Sten submachine gun. No, we have Sten submachine gun at home. Sten submachine gun at home. This one's actually kind of rad too. I don't... God, it's so hard for me to be mad at these. Like, so many of these are just really kind of ingenious for having limited supplies and such. Open bolt submachine guns are super fucking easy too. Basically, all the trigger group does is get the hell out of the way of the bolt, and then the bolt weight and spring take care of the rest of it. It's you know, pretty easy to do just a pipe 9mm subgun like this. Which is why anybody with a rudimentary understanding of tools, physics, and access to bent sheet metal can easily come up with something like this. Which is one of many reasons why no matter how hard people try, criminals will always be able to get guns. Even if they look pretty fucking whack. And speaking of whack, I got a pretty funky looking AK derivative coming up. But before we do that, time to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor this episode is actually a company that I've used for a long time, armslist.com. If you're looking to legally buy a gun or sell a gun person to person in your state, armslist.com is the place for you. You and I both know that gun store shelves have been empty for a good while, basically since the, the Rona hit. Sometimes your best bet is going person to person, especially if that's legal in your state. If it is, you might want to hit up Arms List. Just like it sounds, Arms List is Craigslist, but for pews. I personally used Arms List a ton in the past to get a bunch of cool deals over the last few years, so if you want to check them out, definitely give them some love, and we appreciate them being a supporter of the channel. Alright, so for me to call this an AK would be a bit of a stretch, but this is clearly AK inspired. This is something along the lines of like a 9mm or some other pistol caliber, probably open bolt type of weapon. No, actually, no, not open bolt. Shit. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a pistol caliber submachine gun based off of the AK receiver and an AK fire control group. You can tell by the access pin locations there, and the fact that this is an AK trigger, and of course seeing an AK pistol grip there behind it. And you can also tell that they have overlaid on top like a blank jig of some sort, like they've printed out a blank jig for the typical AK receiver. That is about where all the AK similarities stop. Of course, you got some sort of submachine gun magazine there with a ghetto mag release. God knows how long that barrel is, and it seems to be held in by screws. Charging handle on top, I'm assuming there, that the big Allen key thing there. Rear trunnion there, or whatever is posing as one, appears to be made out of aluminum, held in by, again, some more screws and a little bit of pixie dust. Overall, this looks like absolute dog shit, but I applaud the effort. Again, when it comes just down to just crude, homemade, small caliber stuff like this, especially like pistol rounds like this that require no lockup, man, it is really easy to make this stuff. It's almost like no matter how much you regulate it, people will still be able to get their hands on this kind of thing, as long as they have access to, you know, a hand drill and basic tools you can get from a hardware store. Weird. But you know, a bunch of these guns just look ghetto as all hell. They really could use a little bit of sprucing up, and I think I know what would do it. I think some wood furniture would look really nice. Haha, yeah, that's more like it. It should be no surprise to you that a lot of these photos are coming from either gun buybacks or police confiscations. These are clearly just some sort of pipe guns, I guess, that somebody put in so much extra effort to try to put some sort of wood chassis on. And honestly, it probably helps with the look quite a bit. Actually, now that I'm zooming in on this, I'm pretty sure the charging handles are a literal fucking nail. Alright, look, these got confiscated for a reason. I'm not applauding what these were used for, but I am applauding a little bit of the ingenuity behind it. Some of this stuff is pretty clever. What is that about necessity breeds innovation, I guess? Not allowed to say that. Hey Mac 10, can I borrow your homework? Sure, just change a couple things. Don't make it look like you copied me. And we get this. It's really just kind of neat to see how much of this is just like bent sheet metal stuck all together. Especially, like I said, easy little calibers like 9mm, 22, stuff like that. You can get away with a lot if you don't require lockup, like anything complicated. As soon as you have lockup, like a rifle round or something like that, you're requiring some sort of cam groove with a lockup mechanism and all sorts of shit gets fucking whack. But you got small, simple calibers like this, it's amazing how simple some of this stuff gets. And I know, I'm fawning over something that looks like it came straight out of a child's rendering of pistol from the Jetsons, but I still think this stuff is super neat. And now for something else that's a little bit more AK related. 7.62 by 39 homemade rifle / SMG thing seized in Kaduna, Nigeria. Now this one is a bit more complex, although I am very puzzled. It says 7.62 by 39, but they're showing boxes of 12 gauge ammo. Okay. They're also showing an AK magazine right next to it, which, pardon me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe 12 gauge fits in a 7.62 magazine, so I'm not sure where this confusion came from. Not altogether surprising that they fuck something like that up, because as you can see in this other photo, Buckway here, whatever his fucking name is he's holding this gun assembled completely wrong. You can see he's very confused. Poor guy, probably. I don't know why the fuck he's in this photo. Honestly, he looks like me trying to give a book report in the 4th grade. I don't know why I'm here. I just know I'm presenting something to you. Even worse, you could probably tell that this gun was confiscated in the disassembled state, as the picture before shows that the furniture is apart from the gun. And in this photo, the pistol grip is now installed backwards with the screwdriver that was presumably used to attach it backwards, laying on the hood of that car. All in all, though, nifty looking weapon. Very surprised why you felt the need to do this, though, considering that AKs are like $25 in a sandwich in Nigeria, but still, I applaud the effort. Here's what I've been meaning to show for a good while. Warhammer Bolter, full auto 12 gauge SMG. May God have mercy on the poor bastards getting shot with this. This basically just looks like a Mac 10 chambered in 12 gauge, with super high brass loads, by the way. Lots of shit going on in this photo. For one, you're not going to be getting a whole lot of velocity out of that, considering that your barrel basically ends at the chamber. Also, huge style points for using an HK fire control group, the little trigger pack there, to make all this work. Very nicely done. It's always a crapshoot with pictures like this, though, because I have no clue if this is an actual firearm that works. This could be some ghetto-ass prop gun that was meant to be used by extra number 43 in the back of some shitty movie in the 80s nobody saw, And we're just now seeing pictures of this from some prop warehouse. Given the fact that it has like a 1/2-inch barrel, I'm more leaning that direction, but who knows? This could be something perfectly legitimate that was seized in something God only knows what in Colombia. But this is definitely a qualifier for curse gun images if I've ever seen it, so I'm showing it to you guys anyway. Do you guys think this thing actually functions? Because I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I really don't fucking know. A couple of those holes in the pistol grip make me think that this is like an airsoft clone or something, but I'm ultimately not that familiar with HK stuff, so that could be perfectly normal. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Now, a lot of these guns have been showing just kind of, I guess, redneck ingenuity to a sense. Without fancy CNC machines or polymer injection molds or anything like that, people are still able to make do and figure out how to make this stuff work when it comes down to even just the bare minimum. That's really actually pretty cool. As Jeff Goldblum says, life finds a way. And with that in mind, let's check out the next one. You know, these improvised weapons are called zip guns. Not because they're completely ass-fucked by zip ties, right? Man, what the fuck is even going on here? There's no fucking way this thing works. Jesus. This is some copper tubing with half of a hardware store zip tied onto it. If this works, I will shit a canary sideways. The fuck is that trigger? What? How does that trigger even fucking work? You know you bend the trigger outward. Jesus. Alright, well, I was ending this one fairly optimistic. My mistake, I suppose. I think I'm about done for the day. Anyhow, guys, I greatly appreciate you guys watching another episode of Curse Gun Images. And remember, if you can find some cool prototype guns, some guns that you know of that, you know, are pretty popular today, that didn't quite look so good in their prototype phases, go ahead and send those over to me, because I really want to do an episode of just prototype Curse Gun Images. I think that would be really cool. As for today, though, I think we're good to go. Just make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on future videos like this. And, as always, I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks, guys.
Fuel is my obsession to make the perfect weapon, like Rasputin's rise to the top.